Hi, I'm Mark, producer of Roundtable, the TV series born here in New York City at the legendary Manhattan Neighborhood Network Studios. The exchange of ideas is important, and that is why we bring to you the following presentation. Please watch.
Welcome to Single Shot Show at Manhattan Neighborhood Network. We continue our conversation about the newest phenomena in the art world, NFT, non-fungible tokens. And we have again as our guest SoundDrGenie,
Thank you,
the educator and successful NFT artist. And today we would talk about his artistic creations and what he does as an artist with NFT. Thank you very much for joining us again. So,
thank you, Alex. I appreciate it.
Tell us how it started.
Since very little, I like doing drawings. Whenever I was in school, I used to just grab my pencil and start drawing wolves and, things from cartoons like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimons and things like that. So eventually, I got my hands on a computer. It was my brother's computer. I was like probably 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And I started learning CorelDRAW through a trial version that he had. And from then, I was just hooked. I started learning English all the way from Colombia because the trial version was only in English. So,
okay.
Yeah, that was one thing that learning curve, learning first the language from Colombia and then learning the software by myself, because back then it was not YouTube tutorials. It's not like you could look anything and...
Oh yeah, I remember those times pretty vividly.
Yeah. Right now you can look anything up and you could learn it really quickly. That's vast information out there, and yeah. So that's how I started with CorelDRAW. And I was also, when I was growing older, I started developing a passion for music. Mm-hmm. So I started like a little band. I like rock music, by the way. I did this project called Forgotten Zombies. It was like industrial music, which, by the way, I haven't made any of that music NFTs. So,
wow, that's actually quite prone to pretty cool videos.
Yes. So, in regards to that, I was doing the photo covers for my album. So I was like very artsy, like I was very connected to the art world. I was also DJing when I was like 22, 23 years old in New York City. I was DJing. I had to design flyers as well. So that's pretty much my background. For designing and doing things creatively.
Already?
Yes. My first mint was actually not too long ago. It was 2021, beginning first quarter of the year. Those pieces didn't sold out immediately because I didn't have a community. And in fact, my community still growing. It was this NFT about one time that I got arrested in New York City because we were talking about the banking system at the bank. That was back in 2011. So since it's a very memorable thing, something close to me, I want to like express to the rest of my followers, my audience, and my family what happened that day. I decided to include in the metadata a video link to what happened, and I modified the original picture, which came up on the Banking on Bitcoin film from 2017. I took a snapshot of it, put it on my CorelDRAW, put a orange ring around it, and I scratched off the word where it says Bitcoin and put banking on wax. And that was like my first NFT.
Well, that's actually a complex story behind NFT, and as I understand, it's one of the most important things about creating one. You're not just creating an art piece, you're creating a whole story, and most of the NFT, one way or another, are very anchored in time. They actually connected to a specific date, they connected to a specific event, not just to some kind of visual.
Exactly. And whoever ends up owning that NFT, whoever buys it from that other person, you're gonna see the sale, how much it sold for, and you will be getting your secondary market sales as well. So that's very, very important.
That's, as we mentioned in the first episode, is one of the most unusual things. But there was something you mentioned that actually can take our conversation in a different direction. You was mentioning the banking system and Bitcoin, their antagonism and their relationship. So as I understand, in a way, NFTs now is a new rebel art in one way or another.
Yes, it is. It is indeed. You can see it on OpenSea. It's a lot of art in regards the crypto movement, Bitcoin, Ethereum, specific events. In fact, in Wax, there is something called Bitcoin Origin, which Mark Cuban is in love with. He loves Bitcoin Origin because it's NFTs that tell you the story behind Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And I also have a project, my own NFTs also these ones are for free, on where I encourage people to grab the NFTs for free, and in return they'll get a better version of that NFT, and they'll make the revenue for themselves. So that's something that I do to teach also people and encourage learning in the NFT space. Mark Cuban is in love with Bitcoin Origins. I haven't bought anything from Bitcoin Origins yet, but if you're really looking forward to it, just search it on the Atomic Hub, which is the website.
This is pretty cool. Well, you mentioned something interesting here about people actually getting NFTs for free, but let's talk about something else. When people collecting NFT, what is the process for the collector? How you becoming a collector? We didn't talk about that in a previous episode, and it's also very important if you think about it. Say I decided that there is an NFT I'm totally in love with, I just seen it, and I want to own it. And I never did it before. So what would be the process of becoming NFT collector? What I would need to pay attention to, and how I need to approach it?
Okay, so the way that I look at it is, if you're a collector and you, if you're a collector and you come across something that you like, whatever it is that you came across that you like, at that moment, it's gonna be on certain blockchain. So that's the first thing you have to recognize. Okay, you saw something on Foundation, or you saw something on Rarible, or you saw something on the Phantasma marketplace. Whatever that you saw, whenever you click on it, you're gonna see where it's hosted. All right, so that's the number one thing. So if it's hosted on Ethereum, let's say it's on OpenSea, you came across, you were on Twitter scrolling, you click something that you saw and you like, that was on OpenSea. What's the next step? Get Ethereum. So
naturally,
so that would be one really good resource that everybody in the United States uses is Coinbase, because it's insured by the FDIC. That's $250 $250,000 worth of insurance. So if anything happened to those funds, you're good. So you buy your Ethereum, you identify where you're buying it. All right, so it's Ethereum that you have to pay for the transaction. Next thing, you download your MetaMask wallet. So with the MetaMask wallet, you send the funds from Coinbase. So the OpenSea is one marketplace where you can purchase your NFT right after the funds arrive to your MetaMask. Wait a couple of minutes. It shouldn't be too much, the transaction fee. Hit buy, and you're set.
All right, that sounds simple enough. As I understand, for each place where NFTs are hosted, you need a separate account if you want to buy from them naturally, like in
A
any other
different
situation.
crypto. Different crypto.
Different cryptocurrency as well. Well, talking more about conceptual and long-term value of the NFTs, what do you think collectors should be looking at the moment? What could give them a good reason to believe that this particular NFT will gain in value and at least remain valuable after a while?
Well, right now it's two things that you could look at when buying NFTs. If you want to make a profit with it, Ethereum has NFT lending. So there are users that lend their NFTs in exchange for certain amount of Ethereum. Once you pay that Ethereum back, then once you pay the Ethereum, you get the card. So you make a profit from that just by lending. So whatever amount of time you're holding it, you're collecting certain amount of interest. Okay, and also with Wax NFTs, you can stake NFTs on Wax with this game called Our Planet. If you're looking to sell that Wax, there is that cryptocurrency that you earn from there called a Ether. So you sell your Ether that you made from staking the NFTs. So you stake the NFT, you get the Ether, you exchange it, and you make your revenue.
Today in single shot, I'm going to tell you how to make a makeshift pinhole camera. It's actually very simple. All you need is a business card. I'm gonna use mine, but you can use any. You need to apply 2 pieces of duct tape on it, just like this, so they will be overlapping each other. And right in the middle of the card, from the inside, pierce a small hole. The smaller and rounder it is, the better will be your result. And put this contraption right on the camera, so the hole is right in the middle of the lens space. Then point it at what you would like to take a picture of, put the camera on delay, and take the shot. Voila! You have your pinhole camera shot. Thank you and watch us on YouTube. Alright, we're back. So in the first episode we was recording, we mentioned that there is a presentation that you put together for your fellow artists, explaining to them what they can do in order to start working as NFT. Let's talk a little bit about it. Can you tell us more about this project?
Yeah, this is a project I decided to start because there is a lot of people that do not know the proper ways of doing it. So if you are interested, that there's few NFTs right now on the Atomic Hub that you could use to learn how to auction, put for sale, and give away for free NFTs using the Wax blockchain. It's a step-by-step process. If you need any resources, I could give them to you as an NFT as well as a PowerPoint. And if you need personalized help, every day I do the VR meetup on Alt Space. around 9:30, between 9:30 till 10:30, where there's a whole gallery with all the slides for you to view and just get it done.
That's another fascinating thing.
Yeah.
So you actually own one of those virtual galleries.
Yeah, actually, I don't own the gallery. I'm only a host. Somebody else built it. I'm the host.
Listen, just like when it comes to brick and mortar galleries, somebody built the building and somebody is a landlord, but the space you're managing means you own the gallery. So I think the term is correct here.
Basically.
So this gallery is displaying your art, or you're curating other artists' art there as well?
I can't curate art because it would be too many things in the table. So when you're a NFT artist, you got to make sure you leverage your time, because you don't want to be doing too many things that do not relate to the art part of things. So this is why I didn't design the world myself. So that's just one thing that I look at. I just try to focus on my art and outsource things like promotion, like art curation. I know somebody in the art space that goes by Migi Crypto. They are art curators. I give them my art and they push it to their audience. So because if I were to do it myself, curate art and put it myself in the gallery, it would eat time away from the actual art and building the things that I want to build for my audience.
Oh. In a conversation before, we actually mentioned that you can't only focus on creating art, you actually have to build a community. Now we're talking about not doing too much of it. So
you wear many hats. So you got to know how to manage your time.
Exactly, to find the right balance, because if you're just focusing on creating art and disregarding everything else, ultimately the only person who would ever see this art, no matter what media, would be you.
Exactly.
But if you're focusing too much on promoting the art, you sometimes can actually lose on the part of creating it, and either on quality or quantity or both. Or
definitely, man. Definitely. Building a team is essential. In fact, I was looking at something 2 days ago, because if you don't promote your art, it's not gonna get eyeballs. So I was doing this research about VAs, which is virtual assistants, and there is a really good online website called onlinejabs.ph, I believe it's called, and you can hire people from the Philippines to do tasks for yourself at a really affordable price, like $3, $2, $500 for the whole month. You got your personal assistants, and they help you with whatever that you need, So that's something that every artist, depending on their budget and how far they want to go, would determine. Everybody has a different budget. So that's why I'm looking into that, because I'm looking to grow my community. And like you already know, you start diverting from things that you want to do, and it's just too many things, and you don't get one thing done. So
absolutely, that's happening with the best of us.
Yes.
Well, the virtual assistant is another concept that I learned today. I mean, it's fascinating concept to research indeed. Well, so getting back to this step-by-step instructions, as I understand, you selected the specific venues and not just saying that you need to say mint a coin, you're actually saying that you need to go in a specific place and create it there in this specific manner.
Exactly.
So as I understand, all the places that you're recommending, all the services you're recommending are coming from personal experience and probably from some trial and error that you already went through yourself.
Certainly. A lot of trial and error. Yes. When it comes down to the VAs, I haven't explored that environment yet, but for what I understood, once you teach your VA, your virtual assistant, what you want them to do for you, they're very reliable. They're very, very reliable.
Well, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but one of the things I did in my life was project management. And at least from what you just described, I see one possible problem with this approach to having an assistant in order for this assistant to actually create tasks for you, you first need to very vividly and very in a very good detail explain to them what they need to do. And essentially, you would be spending 70% as much time just putting together the instructions as if you would do it yourself. So that, unfortunately, is a big problem with having somebody helping you remotely. Maybe if it's possible to have somebody like this helping you through Zoom meetings instead of exchanging emails with them, that probably could be...
When it comes down to the Zoom meetings, because it's happening in the Philippines, the internet goes out at different random times, so it might not work out all the time for the Zoom meetings. And it's very good. You remark a very important point that all YouTubers that know about the matter mentioned that it's the time that you have to spend with that person to do what you want them to do.
Exactly. And it's inevitable, unfortunately, because the incorrect or incomplete instructions will cause the entire process to be completely devalued. And this is one of the reasons why the artists joining this community need all those instructions, because as I understand, it's easier to start wrong with NFTs, and it's much harder to correct it afterwards if you went in the wrong direction and already invested your energy in doing something. Like, for example, we mentioned several ways and several platforms where you can mint the actual art piece. And if you selected the wrong one and already invested in learning the process, understanding how it works, understanding the options, switching to another platform as a task on its own, even if you already went through this process. It's essentially like switching from Mac to Windows or back, or vice versa.
Or Verizon to AT&T or vice versa.
Well, with Verizon and AT&T or any other cell phone provider, there is much smaller learning curve in order for you to start using it. I mean, you switch the SIM card, it's still the same phone, still the same interface.
you will be surprised. You will be surprised. Once you start learning how to use blockchain, like, they're very alike. Very alike.
They are?
So that's something that you shouldn't like worry too much about, because if you learn the first one, the rest is pretty much going to be the same thing.
Oh, I'll go into our second break and we'll be back after a brief pause. Hello, this is Alex AG from Single Shot with another single trick. Tonight I want to tell you a little bit about post-production. There is one feature in Photoshop and many other photo editing programs that being used scarcely. That's channels. And there is only one reason why it is so. Nobody understands what it is for. Well, not nobody, but a lot of people don't. So when you see an image just like this, you are getting in channel that. And that's very counterintuitive, because you actually supposed to be seeing this. 3 separate sets of color, not of grayscale. So if you would think of each channel as specific color, for example, of red being red instead of grays, blue being blue instead of grays, and green likewise, you'll find channels very useful for editing. All right, we're back. So as I understand, besides working on your own NFT art and instructing poor, desperate artists who are trying to understand how to work with it, you're also involved in creating something that reminds me of Internet World of 90s, the actual physical events for the virtual world. So there is something like this is coming up somewhat soon, as I understand,
Yes.
right?
There is something coming real soon. So stay tuned. Garden State Crypto is a project between Roman, Randy, Emilio, and recently myself. And we have a vision in which we want to show the world that you could exit the banking system, you could exit the rat race, and we show people how to mint NFTs, how to learn about DeFi, and not just that, but also we're giving people a platform to showcase their photography, their music, and their art. The last event we did was in the Blockchain Center. It was May 1st, so a couple of months ago. It was the first event of the year in New York City about NFTs. And we got one coming, so stay tuned. Follow me on social media, on Instagram or Twitter, if you wish. And I'm here to help.
Well, I would imagine that a lot of our viewers, by the time this event approaches, would already test the grounds with NFTs, and for them it would be instrumentally important to actually have a clear view of what the entire community is and how the NFTs actually look in physical world. Because as I understand, that's also part of the event. It actually is an exhibition of sort.
Yes, it is part exhibition, it's part workshop, it's part party. It's a nice venue. You could learn definitely on one-on-one. You could have a one-on-one experience to get this done.
Always very important, as we know from the talk, is about virtual assistants.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, will there be any of your works exhibited there as well?
Yes, I have a collaboration right now with the Ghost Think, and that's gonna be there. The name of the asset is I Was Frame, and it relates to the death of John McAfee.
Fascinating. All right. Thank you very much for joining us again. Looking forward to have more conversations like this. They really are enlightening. So wishing you good luck with this event and with your own art. As I understand, it's already in process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Alex.
I hope you found that worth watching as much as I did. I'm Mark for Roundtable. Thanks for watching. See you next week.